Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's edition of the Daily Stand-Up. My name is Lee Henson, president and founder of AgileDad, and without any further ado, let's get started. Today I wanted to talk to you about the top 5 things that you can make changes on today to become more agile. And I'm not going to do all 5 in one day. Actually, I'm going to spread this out over the course of the week. So we're going to do one topic a day that's going to help you become more agile. But in order for it to be considered, it has to be something that you can make changes to or adjust today. So a little bit of, I don't want to call it rules, but how about team agreement before we get started? I want to make certain you understand that these principles, the things I'm teaching, are not all or nothing. These are just the things that I see that are most impactful that organizations can change. And I'm not going to do them in any order either. I'm not going to say number 1 is more important than number 5 or 5 is better than 1. I just want to go ahead and give you the top 5 ideas of things that you can do today to help your organization really get a better hold on business agility. One of the things we discover through coaching many of the Fortune 100 companies is that it doesn't really matter the size of the company, that large companies do the same thing small companies do, they just do it at scale. So before you get involved here, there's a couple of things you need to make sure are in place. One, you need to make sure you have control of technical debt. I know we've discussed that before, but I want to make certain that if you are going to take on some of these things, that you at least have debt in mind and that you understand either what you're going to do to approach it and how you're going to take care of it. 2, your organization needs to understand, what problem are they trying to solve with Agile, or what are they trying to make better? You need to have some type of vision. It doesn't necessarily need to be formal, but even within your group in the organization, you need to have some kind of idea of what Agile is going to do for you, or what problem you're trying to solve, or where you're trying to take things. This is going to help you with progress on the other things that you're going to be working on. And 3, you need to make sure you have support from somewhere. Now, I know what you're thinking. That kind of might throw a lot of you off. But at the same time, when I say support from somewhere, that could be support from a team who wants to just be better at what they do. It could be support from executive leadership. It could be support from many different aspects. So I want to make certain that you kind of have your head around it. So today we're going to kick things off with number 1 on our list of 5, and that's going to be limit the number of projects or products that you have currently in progress and gain a better understanding of work in progress limits, or WIP limits. One of the things we've discovered in many organizations that we go to, I should even dare say most organizations that we go to, is that they fail to limit the number of projects or products in progress. I see consistently organizations trying to reach for the stars and set stretch goals. And when we approach executive leadership and we ask them why, this is what's really interesting. So I'm going to give you the why behind the what. It's that the quote is, if we have more variety or a greater number of things in flight at any given time, we stand a better chance of discovering the next big thing. We stand a better chance of getting the next big thing out there. So more and more organizations are doing is they're leaning on scaled agile principles, whether it's less or safe or Scrum at scale. And the reason they're leaning on these isn't to help better implement Agile and scale it across the organization. They want to scale it so that they can reduce team size and increase the number of things in flight, hoping to find the next big thing. Well, that's not what scaling is all about, and it never was and never will be. In fact, one of the things we discovered is that organizations that trim team size and increase the number of projects or products in flight wind up taking longer to build those products and get tangible results or good feedback, and it takes them longer to make adjustments that are necessary in order for them to get a product to market quickly. So what winds up happening is you actually increase the amount of time it takes to get your product or project to market, and it reduces team size and causes internal strife and frustration because team members really don't have their head around what they should be doing or how they could progress or what they could do to make a difference, and they're not seeing tangible results, and it's taking a long time to get feedback. There's just so many things that could go wrong here. So the number 1 thing that you can do is discuss with the product owner, for example, at a macro level, and say, hey, instead of having 3 different things in flight or 4 different things in flight, can we reduce that down to 1 or 2? And the benefit is that if you reduce it down to one or two things in flight, and you get more teams working on it and the right size teams, what winds up happening is those things get delivered sooner. And when those things get delivered sooner, it increases your ability to inspect and adapt and make those fine-tuning adjustments that you need in order to get things to market quickly and to have a better understanding of your end consumer. Another thing that's super important is to understand that work in progress means that you're going to limit the number of things in flight, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to pay attention to other things. And I just want to be clear there. I think sometimes when we say WIP limits, people think that means, shut off every other project, don't even consider it, don't even talk about it, put it on a back burner, if you will, and only focus your attention on one thing. And while that could be ideal in many organizations, take a very large company and that doesn't make a lot of sense, right? You don't want to get to the point to where you have so many teams swarming to work on something that they're defeating the purpose, that they're stepping on each other's toes and taking away value and taking away quality. You want to make certain that when teams and organizations do focus on limiting work in progress, that they clearly understand the value behind each product or project that they're going to deliver. Now, this requires a key. So the key to successfully do number one is to have a clear vision and strategy, a good understanding of, the who, what, where, when, why, and how. And I know you've probably heard this before, but I'll say it one more time. If you took each of the products or projects that you're considering to put into flight for a quarter, for a release, for a small window of time, and if you put this statement to them based on the Crossing a Chasm book by Jeffrey Moore, I realize it's salesy, but this elevator pitch is just incredible. If you say, for our target customer who is struggling with or suffering from this problem, our product or service is this type of product or service that provides this key benefit or compelling reason to buy it. Unlike our competitor's product or service, our product or service does this different or better. What that will allow you to do is create an objective viewpoint where you can look at each of the different products or projects that you're considering and pin them up against each other and say objectively which one is going to be the best value for the organization strategically, for the end consumer from a perspective of wants and needs, and is it going to give us any future technological feasibility that makes sense so that we can better integrate with a product or service later, so that we can build on the architecture infrastructure that we're presenting. There's just so many things that need to be considered, but my rule here for number one is take it one step at a time. If you're going to limit work in progress, the first thing you need to do is make sure that you understand the scope or the vision and strategy for each of those different products or projects that you're considering. Next, you need to write your elevator pitch for each one. And then finally, as a group of product owners and stakeholders, you need to get together and have a discussion, an open, honest discussion, to figure out how many products or projects make sense to have in flight based on the number of teams that can swarm to get the work done, and teach the understanding of the value of getting information sooner so that you can make more critical decisions to increase the revenue of the company, to get products or services to the market faster, and to achieve higher quality by having more individuals work on those products and having multiple sets of eyes that can swarm and actually build products that are meaningful for end consumers. Well, I hope you found this first one useful. Tune in for the rest of the week as we talk about the next 4. So we have 4 more things that you can do to change your company today that'll help you become more agile. And as always, we invite you to visit AgileDad.com where you can learn more about this and any other Agile topic. And until next time, stay healthy, stay well, and take care, my friends. We'll see you again soon.